This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Philadelphia. Have you been up the steps?
The rocky steps? No.
Can I film you going up them?
No.
Why?
I might not make them.
You want to try it? If you're in Philly?
Possibly. I'm going back to New York tonight.
Are you really? For what reason?
Meetings.
With who?
On my own.
Who are you meeting?
Oh, right, loads of people.
Yeah. How are you?
Well, how are you?
All right. Glad to be in Philadelphia, obviously. Yeah, huge card Friday. Can you pronounce me the name of the venue?
Leochorus.
Leochorus. Okay.
It's good. I mean, I'm still sort of getting to grips with the profile of boxing in America. Last night we went to the Sixers game at the Wells Fargo Centre, and Gabe Rosado and Tevin Farmer went out and they banged the bell, started the game in the centre circle. That's what it's called.
Bang the bell?
Yeah, like just, this is tradition. Right, get with it, mate. And I would say there was about 14,000 people in there. And I was trying to think, how many people know who Tevin and Gabe Rosado are? Do you know what I mean? These are all people pretty much from the Philadelphia area. You've got one world champ, Philly's only world champ, and another guy from Philly who's been boxing like for years in major fights. Tevin Farmer is the first fighter from Philadelphia to defend his world title in his home city in 16 years.
Hopkins last?
No.
Who was it?
Yeah, I think it was Hopkins. Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant before 16 years. Yeah, Hopkins. So, like, I know America's a massive place, but if that was in Liverpool, or Newcastle, or Manchester, the place would be jam-packed. And we're going to have, on Friday, it's going to be one of our best crowds we've had so far, right? But I'm just trying to unearth why. Why is it that these fighters, with great stories, like Tevin Farmer, from, as he says, the hood, come out, was like, lost his first, or was, what was he, 7-2 or 7-4 after 11. Got his nut down, worked his nuts off, became world champ, now defending it on the big stage. You know, 6,000, 5,000 is a nice crowd, but I want 15 and 20. So how do we get it? And it's just about understanding that. It's, you know, it's taking time. It's an interesting experience because we're blessed in the UK that we have a sport, but we have people who are so passionate about their own. And I don't see as much passion here yet in those cities. Does that make sense? So, like, you know, when you see Frampton, Warrington, Ritson, Bellevue, Callum Smith, like, if you're a world champion from Liverpool, right, and you're a Scouser, you're proud as fuck. If you're a Geordie, I mean, you saw it with Ritson, even at fighting for European titles, 8,000-9,000, just so much passion. So why doesn't that exist here? People of Philadelphia should be so proud of Tevin Farmer, should be so passionate about Tevin Farmer. People in Brooklyn and Brownsville should feel exactly the same way about Danny Jacobs. They do more so for Danny than Tevin because he's coming through, but it's just understanding that and the mentality and why there isn't that same feeling towards boxers. Is it because basketball and baseball is everything and NFL? Possibly. I think that is a major problem here. But
isn't it more to this case that you just said Farmer's the first person to defend his world title from Philadelphia in 16 years, so they've not had that kind of top level boxing in Philadelphia.
It's true,
so
but they've always had boxing. It's a fight city, but what I'm saying is, when you've got a fight city like Philadelphia, when you have a world champion, this is the biggest card that's been to Philly for a long time, right? So, and they're telling me, oh, the ticket sales are amazing. Yeah, great, 5,000 or 6,000. I mean, it's really good for what it is, but I just feel like the whole city should be behind a show like this and this kid, you know? Because if we did it in the UK, they would be. So what's the difference? Size of the country? Different opportunities to see different events? more things going on.
But you've spent
Boxing's
a lot of
good.
time building those fighters in the UK in them
I know,
cities that you're talking
maybe,
about.
Maybe. That's what we've got to do. That's what we're trying to do. And I think we're doing a decent job of that. But it's going to take time. And it's a big job. But it's part of what we're trying to do. And I think activity is important as well. You know, when guys are fighting once, twice a year, it's very hard to build a profile around that unless you're fighting in major fights.
John O'Carroll, huge opportunity for Carroll.
Well, look, to be honest, this fight is two great stories. The Tevin Farmer story is a great story. So is the John O'Carroll story. I mean, I remember putting John O'Carroll on our show at the 3 Arena. Do you remember, against Declan Garrity?
Yeah.
I think Jono was...
It was a 4-rounder.
Yeah, he was 2-0 or something like that. And Declan was whatever he was. And Jono was the opponent, right? And it was a fucking... I mean, I was so gutted that it didn't go on TV because it went at the end, do you remember? And it was such a brilliant fight. And Jono won. And then he went in prize fighter. And he won prize fighter. To think then that John O'Carroll would be challenging for the IBF world title in Philadelphia, now, I would have said, I mean, not that he didn't have ability, but this is an incredible story. And Jono's done, a great job. MTK had done a great job for him as well. But I feel like, a lot of people are talking about the Gervonta Davis fight and what's next. And Farmer's very, very confident. I was at the basketball with him last night. He was very confident about this fight. But you can't underestimate the fire in Jono's belly to become world champion this Friday. And fire don't deliver world titles. Ability does with fire. But he has ability, and he will fucking be trying his absolute nuts off on Friday to become world champion. It's St Patrick's Day weekend. Obviously, Katie's on the bill as well. John Joe Nevin. There's going to be a lot of Irish in the arena. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and I think he's going to give Tevin a really good fight.
Katie Taylor going for her third title in the weight against Volante.
Yeah.
So
tough fight. I mean, I've lost count of the amount of times where I've said this is her toughest fight yet. So this is her toughest fight yet. I think Volante is very, very strong. She had a decent amateur pedigree. She can punch. She's probably a little bit too slow for Katie, I hope. But listen, how many times do I say Katie is my favourite fighter? I just think she's amazing.
Is she commercially your favourite fighter?
You're talking about making me money?
Yeah, when you say favourite fighter, do you mean if you just strip everything down?
To be honest, we're in a blessed position. As a business. So
it's just weird for you to come out of your favourite fighter, if that makes sense.
But I'm just telling you from my heart, she's my favourite fighter. For many different reasons. But more about, look, we're living in a crazy boxing world right now, right? Where money is obviously the driver to most things. Money is also sometimes the route to evil. When it's all said and done, and you're sitting on your sofa with your pipe and your slippers, what are you going to remember about life? That bloody phone ringing, probably. But are you going to remember the money you've made? Or are you going to remember the enjoyment you had? The times where you cried with joy, with excitement, the adrenaline, those moments. And that's what she lives for. So she's a trailblazer. She's the reason that women's boxing is where it is. She's the reason that women's boxing was in the Olympics. And I just respect and I want to deliver for her and I want to help her achieve her dreams. And I know that sounds really corny, but that's the truth. Because I want to give her the opportunity to be what she wants to be, which is undisputed champion, which is to go down and create a fantastic legacy in the sport.
How far is the Serrano fight off?
It's pretty much there. I mean, the aim is to be undisputed champion. So she's got to beat Volante, and then hopefully the Pearson fight could happen on the AJ card. That's what we'd like, and that would be the undisputed world championship. Very, very tough fight against Pearson. And then there's huge fights for us. Serrano, maybe a catchweight with Breakhouse, Cyborg, I don't know. After you've won the undisputed title, then it's about just pushing the boundaries. And
is the Jonas fight done with?
Yeah, I mean, not forever, but you've got Chantel Cameron who's a good fighter.
Recently
She
signed with
lost. She
MTK,
actually lost to
yeah.
Volante in the amateurs, I think. She's a good fighter. She needs to get a couple of good wins. She's in the mix. Tasha, if she come back and maybe beat Obernorth, I don't know, But really, I feel like we're not on the home straight because Katie wants to keep going for about another 5 years or more, according to her. But she could be undisputed champion this year, and that would be amazing within the amount of fights she's had.
Luke Campbell on the card. You're loose enough on the card. Yeah, quick word about Luke Campbell. He's in a 10
Yeah,
rounder.
so he's basically, it's one of those positions where he's mandatory for the WBC world title. He's waiting on Mikey Garcia. Obviously, I've pushed the WBC so much on this. Garcia is not going to fight Luke Campbell. He is mandatory. So vacate the title. Make him Emeritus champion. It's not fair to just, like, everyone knows that Garcia is not going to fight Campbell, right? So free up the belt. And I hope Mikey, win or lose on Saturday, actually respects the code enough to say, well, I'm going to vacate, or I'm going to go as Emeritus champ. He could have the ability to call that fight on any time he wants against the winner. You know what I mean? So let him do that. But Luke's sitting there at number 1. You've got a very interesting situation of Abdullayev, Haney, and what's his name? The Golden Boy kid, the good kid.
Diaz?
No, the one who does the flips when he wins.
Tiafimo
Yeah, Lopez. Right. So Abdullayev is going to fight Haney. So when Mikey vacates, or when the WBC act, it'll probably be Campbell against the Abdullayev Haney winner, and then the winner of that will fight Lopez. So you've got some brilliant fights there to be made. I just hope that after this weekend, when the WBC called a Campbell fight, Mikey goes, look, okay, I'm going to go and sit as Emeritus and then call it on if I do return to lightweight. So he's fighting Adrian Young from Mexico. Should deal with him reasonably comfortably, and then move on. And I'm looking to him to fight for the world title in the summer, basically. Yulusinov back out. He's basically ready, pretty much in the second half of the year to go for it now. He's had his learning curve, and you've got so many of these young Eastern Bloc fighters that are coming through at such a rate. I mean, did you see Israel Madrimov, our new kid from Uzbekistan?
Stunning guy.
Mate, he's an absolute monster. He is the new Gennady Golovkin, and he's 22. So, and he's moving. He's now saying, give me anybody at 154. I will not turn down one fight at 154. So that's the rate these guys are moving. And sometimes, when you're out of, you're from Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, you have to move quicker to get more of an impact and to get more attention in the US market. And that's what Madrimov's doing. And I think Daniel will have to do that, post this fight and moving into serious fights.
Friday night, live on Sky Sports and Dazn.
Correct.
Now,
go on.
Wilder.
Mm-hmm. No comment.
Sources.
Yeah.
All right. I know. You can't tell us loads, but is it because you haven't really had any involvement in what's going on between John Skipper,
Oh, I know.
Heyman,
I know
DeBella,
what's going on with
Wilder?
that. But the thing is the only way this fight is going to get made is if I shut up. So I'm going to have to shut up, and I'm not going to say anything. So, what you know, what's been reported.
20 million for a Brazil fight? And
I don't know about those numbers, but I'm
the
talking...
you don't know if the numbers are accurate?
No, I
to that or
do.
not?
I'm not going to talk about anything because it will work against us. So, from me, no comment.
Have you been requested to actually...
But
Stay
there's
out
been
of it.
conversations. No, I should stay quiet, and I've got such a big mouth. But even anything that I say,
You were talking about it on Sky.
I know, but they're the host. Brought it was a couple of comments, like it was irrelevant comments. But I just think if we got any chance, I'm staying quiet. I'm staying out of it. No comment. All I will say is no, because John Skipper said the same thing, and I know if John said it, I'm okay. Is DAZN have a desire to make the biggest fights possible? That's it.
Do you know? All right, okay. But do you know how those talks have gone?
No comment.
Okay, you can answer that surely, can't you? You're not being involved in it.
Think
Have they gone well, or
you'd have to speak to the people that are in the talks.
where's John Skipper? Like
What, now?
now,
He's in New York.
can I go and see John Skipper this week?
I'm sure you can request it with your friend Joseph Markowski.
I'm going to ask Joe because he will be able to give me more of an insight than you can for the first time ever.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But I choose to not to. But you know, I just think it's delicate, isn't it? So I'm staying quiet, no comment. You can even title your videos that Hearn, no comment on Wilder. That'll get everyone watching.
If I see you talking to any of the American media today,
you won't, because
they will.
I'm going to say the same thing to everybody. I'm not talking about Joshua Wilder. Let's just let it play out.
All right. This might be the future thing to do.
What, to stay quiet? Well, your channel will be
No, just you stay out of everything and fights get made.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah. I think your channel would be fucked though if I was just no comment and everything. But yeah, no comment.
Okay. You can speak about obviously Golovkin.
No comment. Yeah, go on.
I love it when something happens with Dazn and people always like, oh, Hearn never had anything to do with that, or I mean, technically, I suppose it's between Golovkin, GGG Promotions, and Dazn.
The contract, yeah.
So where would your involvement come in?
I'm a partner with Dazn, so I'm responsible, I guess, in many ways for the success of boxing on the platform. So when Canelo joined Dazn, how involved was I? I knew everything about it. I went to a meeting with John and Oscar and Eric. Was I a key player in the deal? No. On this one, was I involved? Absolutely. Was I at the first meeting? Yeah. The next meeting? Yeah. Certain elements of the deal, I can't deliver because it's not my responsibility to deliver certain things that are in a deal. Am I Golovkin's promoter? No. Will I be working on the shows? Yes. Would I love to be working with Triple G Promotions? Yes. Can I deliver a lot of benefits for Triple G Promotions? Yes. But it's not, and I see those comments as well. You know, it's like Triple G joins Dazn. Wow, Dazn and Hearn are flying. I love it when people put that. It's like, but he's got nothing to do with it. Why are you doing? It's like, mate, you got to understand. All of us who are in this are together, in my opinion, right? So, Matchroom, Golden Boy, Triple G Promotions, and anybody else who joins this platform, this movement, we're all in the same boat.
You all have the right to say welcome to the team.
Yeah, but I didn't say welcome to Matchroom. I said welcome to Dazn. Dazn is my team. That's what I'm at. That, you know, if at the moment in America, Dazn is, for me, I have to make it work. So if I can help bring a fighter of the magnitude of Triple G Promotions, of Gennady Golovkin and Triple G, to the platform, I don't really, would I like to be involved? I'd love to be involved. It would be an honour. But that's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is drive subscriber numbers and whatever it takes to deliver the major fights.
Are you under more pressure than someone like De La Hoya?
Yeah, because I have my budget's like, I mean, for our shows, you know, different deal. So, yeah, we're under pressure to deliver fights. That's why we delivered, you know, Joshua Miller. That's why we helped on Golovkin, run Savai Estrada. Got some other big news coming soon. That's why we put Usyk on in America. So. Yeah, but it's not like, I don't know, I almost feel like I'm more of an employee to Dazn. I'm that close to Dazn and to Perform that we are a family. So we work together on trying to get these big deals over the line. I have to be big enough and not have the ego to say, no, this deal can't, and try and be obstructive or intrusive into deals where John Skipper's one of the best operators in TV, right? He knows what he's doing. He's much smarter than me. So on the Golovkin stuff, I brought everybody together. We all had the meetings. It's clear what Gennady wanted. Gennady wanted Triple G Promotions to be the lead promoter, to try and have a couple of shows on the platform, to try and drive talent through and sign fighters. So, you know, he's not going to want to necessarily team up with me as in for Matchroom to be his promoter. Will he want to work with us? I think so, but you'll see with his announcement for his show. But it's not.
When is that first show looking to take place?
Again, it's up. Yeah, I'll let them to. I believe they're looking at June. So there's loads of discussion
against the current European champion.
Who's that?
I can't think of his name, but I just saw
the Polish kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few names been mentioned internally, but again, they'll choose the opponent. We'll probably help with a card, help with a show, perhaps.
Is the plan then for Golovkin to fight the winner of Jacobs and Canelo in September?
I mean, in an ideal world, but again, that's for Triple G Promotions, John and Golden Boy to discuss. You know, and sometimes they'll bounce things off me. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm a promoter, consultant, employee, whatever you want, but my only ambition and aim in the US market is to help with the success of Dazn and drive subscriber numbers.
The guy's name, Campbell.
Saramenta.
Yeah.
Yeah, European champ.
Okay.
I mean, it's not for me to. I don't know. I know some names that have been flung around. I'm not going to say because it's not my show, but
it doesn't stop you with other promoters naming shows and.
Yeah, but it's different. I mean, again, this is. All I have to do in America is make the zone work. And I truly believe in what they're doing. I truly believe in their schedule, their value for subscribers, their ambition, their drive, their vision. And when they got Triple G, I was absolutely over the moon. When they got Canelo, I was absolutely over the moon. When we finalised Joshua Miller, I was absolutely over the moon. And we'll see what happens in September and November, December with other super fights.
What's your thoughts on MTK and ESPN and Top Rank announcing a deal to show MTK shows as many as 30?
It's great. It's great. I mean, I don't know the dynamics of the deal. You probably know more than me. ESPN Plus, like DAZN, OTT service, great for the sport of boxing. Need as much content as possible. MTK shows are good and competitive. I think it's a great opportunity for them. I think it's it's great. More shows the better. Boxing's in a great place. Fighters are being kept active in the UK. Like when you look at it compared to the US. So.
But for them MTK fighters, obviously getting those fights shown on platforms as ESPN is
fantastic.
Huge.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I don't know if they're on the Plus. I presume they're on the ESPN Plus. I don't know, or ESPN Linear. I don't think so. But I don't know the deal. But even ESPN Plus has 2 million subscribers. So this is the thing about. I don't know about like the Fury deal. I'm presuming Fury will go on ESPN Plus, which obviously has much smaller subscriber numbers than ESPN, which he talks about. Was it 75 million homes, something like that? So I don't know. I think it's really good. I don't, I think you know me well enough now. I don't really have any bitterness or voodoo dolls. I like everybody to be successful, and at the moment it's a fantastic time for boxing. It's a weird time, and it won't last, but I'm pleased for everybody. And
what do you mean it won't last? What,
just
in terms of the people
the money.
involved?
No. The money in the States is crazy. It's gone crazy, but it's got a lifespan because it's not really sustainable, in my opinion, from anybody. Because I don't think the model's right. I mean, we're dealing with a different model. We're dealing with a subscription business, which is, almost like a quirky model within itself. But I just think 6 months, 12 months, you're just going to see a plateau of, perhaps injection of money into boxing, purses, etc. So at the moment, there's never been a better time to be a fighter.
Your April 20th card was announced a couple of days ago. You've had a bit of criticism over this card.
Yeah, it's been really mixed. Like,
do you see where that's coming from?
Really? I think it's a really good Saturday night.
But from what,
don't you? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, look, yeah, from you, the original. This is where I think sometimes you talk too much about the plans of putting on White and whoever. And
my biggest weakness is I tell you pretty much everything.
Very possibly.
That's on my mind, and most of the time, it's your fucking fault because you're asking me non-stop. But look, one of the reasons that we got to the position we're in is because I had that approach. Would you say that? We were the ones, the first ones that were interactive with the fans and told the fans what was going on. So I can't just like go into hiding and just not talk to the media anymore and not tell you what's happening. Do I talk too much? Fucking course I do. I'm a promoter. I'm supposed to be a loudmouth second-hand car dealer. Or that's what promoters are. But when you say to me, what's the plan for April 20? I say, the plan is pay-per-view, Dillian White against Golovkin, maybe Chisora Parker and Alan Brown. Right? Now, it's not on pay-per-view, so you know, it's Chisora, it's Alan Brown, it's Josh Kelly, it's Cordina for the British title, it's Conor Benn, there's a couple of other fights to be announced as well. It's a really good Saturday night fight night. I sometimes read through the comments, it's really like the difference between like, it was literally 50-50, but it wasn't like, oh, this is okay, I guess. I'm not really happy with this. It was like, banging card. What a load of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't wait for this one. I mean, we've seen like, and I guess the only way we can really look at it, we went on pre-sale on Monday, Fight Pass yesterday. It's outselling Liverpool, Copper Box. Liverpool, we're going to have 8,000 in for Smith Eggington. Copper Box will have 4, maybe 5,000. He's outselling both of them. So I can only judge it on that. I can't just look at... There is a clear amount of people on social media who cannot stand me or Matchroom, right? Who love to just give us shit. How many is it? I don't know. Is it a couple of hundred?
That I will agree with. That
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what I do.
You do. You know, I do
the same people
that,
are commenting every time. So, but I can only be driven by stats and facts, gates, viewership numbers on Sky, you know, in relation to other shows that we've done. And I know that that show will sell really well and it will deliver viewership numbers for Sky. So...
Are Sky, as in Adam Smith, Barney Francis, are they
very happy with that show?
They're happy with that show.
Yeah. They're over, the only show, this whole thing was come from you obviously, was that the Ted Cheeseman, Sergio Garcia show, which by the way, I think you'll agree, ended up being a really good show, right? Good main event, Richards against Ball, stoppage win for Felix Cash, can't remember the other fight.
So why was Adam Smith moaning about it then?
Because he felt that Cheeseman Garcia wasn't big enough for a Saturday night fight night to drive numbers, to hit viewership numbers. It did all of those actually and done reasonably well in the gate. But Cheeseman, he didn't feel like had the profile of a Chisora or even an Alan via Brown, you know, and obviously now we've got Josh Kelly, Joe Cordina, Conor Benn on that show. So, but again, I can't just live my life with negative people. Because if I just read those reports, I might as well just give up. A couple of hundred people saying, Hearn, you're a disgrace, you got to leave British boxing. And then you walk down the street and a geezer comes up to you and goes, can I just say, what you've done for British boxing and the work you're putting in, I just want to thank you. And I think, okay, now that geezer just called me. But that's, do you understand what I mean? You can't live your life by negative people because people, you know, I've seen it with us putting on a show, really good show. Even like Liverpool's a brilliant card. Copper Box is a great card. Well, when are you going to do like I say now, when are you doing a UK show? Next week and the week after.
But when you're talking about like Chisora, Conor Benn, Josh Kelly, Cordina. So I suppose the names are there. Are they in competitive fights?
Well,
that's what people
well
want to
let's
say.
look at it. One, Chisora against Gashi. Trust me, I think you agree. I mean,
that's going to be a little bit lively.
But Gashi coming against Takam on 4 days' notice. He's a right handful. Chisora just got knocked out to Dillian White. right? He's coming back.
But you've gone from Parker to Gashin, with no disrespect to Gashi.
But you know, not on a pay-per-view card, and I think you'll see Parker next. But anyway, Dave Allen against Lucas Brown, I think it's a really good fight. Right? You don't like that fight?
Yeah, of course I like that fight.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is, from your, like I said,
from the pay-per-view card,
that was your
that generates millions
third.
of pounds. Yeah.
All right, but that was your third fight on there. So
what, Lucas Brown? Yeah.
Brown Allen was your third.
Yeah, but that's also
third on the card.
Yeah, but that's also pretty much the way that a pay-per-view event works. You know, it's a Saturday night fight night. Josh Kelly against this Polish kid Ranowski is 18-0, 17-0. Caldina against Townend's a really good fight for the British title. Haven't announced Conor Benn's opponent yet. Got another 10-round title fight that will be added. Really good fight. Again, I can only be... If we don't sell a ticket and the viewing figure numbers are shit, then I have to look at myself and go, this ain't working.
But you know that's not going to happen. Because,
why? But why?
Because...
Why? Tell me why.
Right, because you've got a model that despite what you do and whatever you do, people are still going to watch it and people are still going to buy a ticket to it. Correct?
But hold on. That's just called a...
just because people are watching it...
No, but why do you think people will go and people will tune in to my events? Why do you think?
You can't...
Why do you think?
Okay,
Answer the question.
Not necessarily buying a ticket then, but people watching on Sky Sports, they're going to watch a show whether they like the show or not. They are, Ed. Of course they are.
The variation. One might do 100,000, one might do 500,000. You know, some Saturday night fight nights will do 150, can't done 1 million. You can't just say people will tune in whatever. Of course they won't. Otherwise, every viewing figures would be the same. That's called variation of numbers. That's called telling you what works and what doesn't.
I understand that yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is, if there's boxing on TV, people will tune in.
Yes, but to what level, KUGAN? You do an interview with someone, one might do 20,000, one might do 400,000. Doesn't mean whatever you put out, people are going to watch. No, they're not. More people are going to watch what they perceive to be the better stuff, and less people are going to watch what they perceive to be the shit stuff, with people or fighters they've never heard of. It's really, really straightforward. And you can't just say, you've got a model where everyone buys tickets and everyone watches on TV.
A certain model.
That's called a fucking great model. And why? Because our shows are better than anyone else. We have the reputation to the public, and forget these, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of haters, but you've got to look at the bigger picture, mate. We have a reputation for putting on the best shows in the UK. That's why people buy tickets for our events. That's why people tune in for our events. That's why our pay-per-view numbers are huge, because we provide value for money. That's our reputation. So what I'm saying to you is that, do you like the Copperbox show?
Yes.
Do you like the Liverpool show?
Yes.
April 20 will sell better and more people will watch.
Okay.
So,
to be honest,
I
haven't necessarily got a problem with April 20th card.
No, it's a good card for Saturday night fight night.
I'm just, like I said to you, I think sometimes, like I said, when you talk a card up so much for a pay-per-view card, and then it doesn't end up being, it ends up being kind of maybe 50% of that.
Yeah. Well, that's about the right equation for a pay-per-view Saturday night fight night. Yeah.
Okay. But like your Peterborough show, I saw loads of comments of people saying that those kind of shows shouldn't be a Saturday night fight night. They should be like a midweek show. People
that when you put it on midweek go, why is it on midweek and not on Saturday? What a load of bollocks. Do you understand? It is. What do you want to do? You can't listen to negativity. You have to believe. This is everything in life. You have to believe in yourself, believe in your decisions, and believe in the trust in the process, right? So, I felt that on a Wednesday night in Peterborough, right, it weren't the greatest bit of business to put that show on. So, I put a Next Gen on Saturday. Fucking hell, Hearn's put a Next Gen on Saturday. Can you believe this, mate? I'm checking my mates, get a group chat going about this. Hearn's a prick, group title. Can you believe Hearn's done a Next Gen on a Saturday? Death penalty. I mean, what is he doing? He's a joke, that geezer. What a money grabber. I'm really sorry that we chose a Saturday rather than a Wednesday, which when we done a Wednesday before, everyone said, well, I don't get home till 8. Bollocks. I've got to go to bed early. Why do I want to watch a fight at 10:30? You can't win. So,
Ed, the cynical people will say that with all this US and Dazn stuff coming, there, like I said, the focus is still dropping off the UK scene, and you're putting more emphasis on making the fights work in the US, which you have to do anyway.
Well,
but you lose kind of the emphasis on the UK
address
stuff.
the cynical people. Okay. You're a fighter, right? In the UK. What do you want to do right now?
What, in terms of where do I want to fight?
What is going through your mind right now? What do you see after every interview, pretty much, of a UK fighter? Hopefully I can get a big fight in America, get me that DAZN money. Jordan Gill said it in his interview.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, when you operate in a marketplace where, and let's use an example for this, Callum Smith, right? When you look at the money that the super middleweight world champions are making, or money that Callum Smith should be making in relation to his position in world boxing, how do you do that in the UK? Achieve that number? You can't. Unless you want to do your absolute proverbials on a night out. And I'm not talking about a couple of $100 grand. I'm talking about a lot of money. So we have a situation in boxing where purses have trebled, quadrupled in the last 12 months at certain levels, and rights fees haven't. Gates haven't. And unless you want to lose a fighter, you have to deliver them an amount of money that is reflective to their market rate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me try and have a conversation with a fighter where it says, the guy like you in America is making, just say, $1 million. And you could go to America and sign with PBC or sign with Top Rank, and you could get $1 million really easily. But would you box in Liverpool for 200 grand? No, fuck off. Like, and I know there's this, oh, Hearn's going to America. Just try and use your brain cells and just understand what I just said. If you think that I'm trying to push fighters to America, no. I have a job to do for Sky. And we all know, because I get told it a million times on a day, oh, Hearn's doing this to America, or Hearn's shows are getting worse. So I'm under pressure to produce good UK shows, for sure. But when a fighter and his manager and his trainer wants to earn money that is not achievable by any means in a UK show, what do you want me to do about it? Lose them? Or put them on our Matchroom USA cards? That's the whole benefit of having an international business. And by the way, with regards to, oh, Hearn's leaving the UK for US, don't worry about the US. Hearn's moving everywhere. Hearn's moving Italy, Germany, Spain, China, Canada, America. That's my business. That's what I'm trying to do. That's the ambition that I've got as a, whatever you want to call me, promoter, businessman, person. And that's the fire that's in my belly. And you ain't going to stop that. So get used to Matchroom being a global business. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but,
try and embrace what is happening rather than fight it. And that's what I think Adam Swift's comments in
But
boxing
are they
also.
happy with that? You were talking like that.
I think they have to be. There's nothing they can do about it.
But they have to be, suggested that they're not.
No, I don't. Listen, they'd prefer we weren't in America.
Right.
For sure.
Okay.
But I understand that. But you can't have the success that we've had in the UK and not have any ambition to take it to the next level. That's the kind of people that we are. I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit at home and go, wow, we've smashed it in the UK. Oh, job done. Oh, let's just keep this going. No, I want to become and be the biggest promotional company in the sport of boxing globally that has ever existed. That is my ambition. Call it deluded, call it arrogant, whatever you want to call it. But call it the truth, because that's what I want to do. And I don't want to, maybe I'm sick in the head. I don't want to stop. Yes, look at my schedule for the last month. Like, it ain't healthy, but it's in me. and I won't stop.
It will produce a headache for you if Dazn do come to the UK for boxing.
Depending on timing, you know. And look, there seems to be this sort of mindset that Sky, I'm DAZN, Sky are our partner, our long-term partner. And you got to understand about Matchroom, it's not just boxing. Matchroom is a massive sports events company with a huge global TV output of thousands of hours a year to broadcasters. Sky are a huge part of the development of our company. And, you know, they're very important to our business. And we're extremely loyal to Sky, have been time and time again. So this is also a two-way street. You know, don't ask if Sky are happy with Matchroom. Ask if Matchroom are happy with Sky. And the answer is, at the moment, yes. We absolutely want to continue this relationship. We have, 2.5 years left on our boxing contract with Sky. I'm sure it'll be extended. But don't ignore what is going on globally. Don't ignore the explosion of a sport where we are probably the key player globally. So what do you want me to do? I'm not gonna sit on my arse and be happy with what I've achieved and not have any ambition to take it any further. Again, call it arrogant, call it greedy, call it deluded, but I'm just telling you what is in my mind and what is in my belly, along with a feta cheese omelette. That's like, and I hope you feel the same with your business.
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be coming out here.
No, but what I'm saying is,
I'd just be in the UK, kind of just.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
No,
But so, and to anyone who doesn't like that, to anyone that isn't happy with the fact that I'm doing shows around the world and I'm not in the UK 365 days a year, I'm sorry, but that's tough because I'm trying to achieve something that, in my opinion, has never been done before, especially from a UK promoter. So. But also understand, do not think for a minute that I don't care about UK boxing, because I believe that we are one of the major people that got it to where it's got to and where it is, and I have no intention of letting that go. I am very proud of British boxing. Okay, so it's not a case of fuck Britain, I'm making more money elsewhere. No. That's where my heart is, honestly, and it will always be there, because for all the reasons I talked about earlier, about Leeds, Belfast, Liverpool, Manchester, you can't buy that. No amount of money can take those moments away from you. Goodison Park, Manchester for Crolla, you know, even Belfast when we done Martinez against Frampton. You know, these are the moments that Joshua, Klitschko, I mean, we can't get that anywhere else. So British fight fans, do not worry. My heart and soul is in the UK, but please understand what we're trying to do in this sport.
Eddie, the Dillian White situation. Obviously, the WBC recently ordered Wilder to defend against Brazil, which kind of... Where does this leave Dillian White?
Well, we've got about another 10 minutes.
Oh.
With Dillian, now the focus is on the WBC to get some answers. I have a massive amount of respect for Maurizio Suleiman, for the WBC, for what they stand for. But they haven't acted, in my opinion, in the correct way here, and especially with the respect and interest of Dillian White. So this is a long process that goes back a long time. In that. And actually, it was what they did initially that balls the whole thing up, which was Brazil was supposed to fight Stiverne. Okay? Stiverne was the mandatory. So that was basically a fight for the mandatory position of the WBC World Heavyweight title. Stiverne pulled out. Okay? Brazil then fought Molina.
Which was a final eliminator?
Hold on, let me finish.
Oh.
And the WBC announced that fight was a final eliminator for the mandatory position. Brazil was 6, Molina was 14. It was bizarre. I messaged Maurizio and said, what the fuck's going on? Dillian White's like ranked, I think he was 2 or 3 at the time. you can't ignore him for a final eliminator. He's ready to go. It's not a final eliminator, right? The media wrote to the WBC saying, how can this be a final eliminator? I think Michael Benson was one of them. He published the reply from the WBC. That was a mistake. This fight is not a final eliminator. Okay? Brazil wins. He's mandatory. What the fuck? Oh no, don't worry. Anyway, goes on. He is mandatory for the title. So Dillian White fights for the WBC silver title. Dillian White's number 1 in the WBC. Brazil's 4. He's mandatory. So we go mad. We kick up a big fuss. Nothing really happens. I write to him. Dillian writes to him. We have meetings. Anyway. So then, this goes on and on and on and on. Almost to a couple of months ago, the argument. And then, Dominic Brazil against Dillian White is made for the interim world heavyweight title and for the mandatory position with the WBC. Great. We're not happy, but fair's fair, done. A little while after, Fury against Wilder gets ordered also, right? As in the final order for that, negotiations.
Before that, though.
No, negotiations and purse bid.
Fine.
First of all, it was that we'll approve it. Then it was, this is a letter, negotiations. In the meantime, Dillian White gets offered I think a shitload of money for the Joshua fight, but turns it down because he backs himself. He's got a WBC mandatory. He will win that, become the mandatory, and make more money. Okay? Before that, he turns down an IBF final eliminator, a WBA regular title, all because he wants to be with the WBC. Okay? So finally, we get the order. Brazil against White, interim title. All you got to do, beat Brazil, and you're mandatory. I turned down this opportunity, turned down that one because I got my WBC final eliminator. Tyson Fury pulls out of the Deontay Wilder fight. Okay? WBC order Brazil against Wilder as the mandatory. So what does Dillian do? Sorry, mate. Like, you've just turned down all these offers because we've ordered a final eliminator
So what
for you.
explanation did you get for that? Or haven't you got
So
one?
just that Fury pulled out the fight, therefore Brazil was a mandatory. I'm saying, no. What about Dillian White? You can't order a final eliminator for the mandatory and the interim world title, let a guy make all his decisions to turn down all these other fights, and then just say, sorry mate, that final eliminator's just evaporated.
But that's what they've done.
Correct. So we've written to the WBC, which actually goes today, we have our lawyers involved now, and we are saying that Dillian White should be the mandatory contender for the WBC. We understand Wilder will fight Brazil.
So Dillian to fight the winner of those two.
Correct.
And you'll be happy with that?
Yeah, and he would be. But we're going to have an interim bout on July 13th. But you can't just order that and then just it go away. Because Dillian's turned down, like I said, millions and millions of dollars to fight AJ because he had a final eliminator with the WBC. So we're batting in his corner and we're trying to make sure that he gets justice with the WBC. He is in his head fighting July the 13th in London, and again, opponent to be agreed, but...
What sort of opponent are you looking at?
I mean, we'll see if Povetkin fights Usyk. Could be him. Char, Ortiz...
Would that be for the regular title?
Possibly, I don't know. But again, we have to wait and see what happens with the WBC. He should be mandatory challenger to the winner of Brazil Wilder, and he should be allowed to fight whoever he wants in July because he's waiting. And I understand that if Joshua Wilder gets made for November, December, the WBC will probably allow that. But at least he has that mandatory position. So that's what we're fighting for at the moment.
What about the ESPN rumours?
I don't know. I mean...
You must have spoken to him.
Yeah, I've spoken to him. And we've got a good relationship with Dillian. We've done a great job. We've done great business together. He told me that he's with Sky, he's with Matchroom. Now, whether his UK fights are going to be on ESPN or whatever, I don't know. But
that puts you in a little compromising
not really.
position.
Well, no, not on the pay-per-view shows.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So his last fight was on Showtime. Yeah. It's not ideal, to be honest with you, but he has told me, he looked me in the eye, shook my hand and said, I'm fighting July 13th and I'm with Sky and Matchroom. And by the way, you've got to be careful here, because if something does happen with DAZN and Wilder, and obviously Joshua, all the belts are going to be on DAZN. So don't make a decision that could effectively stop you from becoming world champion or fighting for the world title. So I can only tell you what Dillian's telling me. I'm sure he's had an offer from ESPN, but he's told me, we're with you, we're with Sky, we're fighting July 13th.
When would you like to, once that situation has resolved itself, then you're in a plan to announce?
Well, we're looking at the moment, and we're talking.
You've got a while.
We're talking to various people. July 13th is quicker than it looks. I mean, it is 15 weeks. I know, but that comes around quite quick. So we want to tee up the opponent, but the priority right now is a WBC resolution.
All right, let's just quickly run through these things. Hooker Cattrall, what could happen?
I think Cattrall's going to be the mandatory. It won't be due. He only just fought Saucedo for the mandatory in, what was that, November. So Hooker will have another defence in June, and then he'll fight Cattrall in the fall.
I think you were quoted as ruling out any chance of Billy Joe Saunders coming back to fight Andrade.
We've made him an unbelievable offer to MTK to fight Andrade for the title, and then probably...
What, again? Or
no,
the original
yeah,
one?
there was a couple of... I mean, once the super middleweight thing fell through, I can't believe he hasn't taken it. I can't believe he's pulled out the Andrade fight. But he's obviously had a good offer from ESPN and Top Rank, and he'll be, sound of thing, joining them and moving up super middle.
Javante Davis, you said you're going to make an offer, or have you made that?
No, I haven't made. I've made several offers to Mayweather Promotions. Make that clear. To Mayweather Promotions, his promotional company. They have been for 2 and 3 fight deals. The one, if Tevin wins on Friday, will just be a one-off fight. To fight.
Do they seem interested?
No, absolutely not at all. They don't. There's too many people in the game in America who are making decisions for their benefit rather than their fighters' benefits. Okay? So, for Mayweather Promotions, they can't, to take Javante off Showtime or Fox is bad news for Mayweather Promotions, so they won't do it. Yet, Javante could earn double the money and get a fight. He doesn't even have to sign with DAZN, or be a matchroom fight or do anything. It's just for a one-off fight. So I just want him to know what actually the offer is.
Kovalev Bivol, possibility?
Yeah, again, I think Bivol's next fight will be Marcus Brown. That's the mandatory. It's a brilliant fight, very, very tough fight. But for Kovalev against Bivol's always been a big fight, will always be a big fight, and if that can get made between us, World of Boxing, and Top Rank, ESPN, I think it's a great fight for the sport.
You've had a conversation with Jamal Charlo, correct?
Yeah, briefly. I just said to him, look, I'm sort of missing the plot here. On DAZN, we've got Canelo, Jacobs, Andrade, Golovkin. Surely you should be involved in those type of fights. So that was it, really. Nothing major.
Okay. And you're saying that you expect possibly the winner of Rosado and Selecki to fight
Andrade
in June. Where will that be in?
It could be at the Dunkin' Donuts in Rhode Island, in Demetrius' hometown. There's a few ideas we've got for Demetrius in June.
Okay. I think that was pretty much it.
Okay, should we go to the presser?
Yeah, just checking on my list.
On your notes, you make notes?
Yeah, I do sometimes make some notes. Quick word on Anthony Ogogo retiring from the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just received, I didn't realise it went into my junk items actually, but he sent me a very nice email that I saw this morning. Lovely man, really good heart, very, very unlucky with his career. And I've followed his attempts to get back to the sport. It's been quite painful to watch. Not just emotionally, but actually the operations that he's been through, trying to get this. And his love for the sport is the reason that he kept at it. And I think he's got a great future ahead of him. And I hope now he can just put that out of his mind and out of his life in terms of his boxing career and say, okay, new chapter. Positivity, that's the key. And I hope that it's going to be tough for him. for any fighter to leave the sport at any time in their career is very tough, particularly ones that don't feel like they got to achieve what they hope to. So I hope the people around him put their arm around him, make sure people look after him for these next couple of months and say, stay positive. He's got a good mind, Anthony. He's a sensible guy, so I hope he just stays positive and looks at this as a challenge. He's one of those guys that he loves challenges, so I hope that he can find that new challenge in his life, whatever that may be. Staying in boxing, moving into a new kind of business, creating a business. He's clever enough to do all that kind of stuff, so I wish him all the best, and enjoy your life. Boxing is over for now, but you've got a whole life ahead of you.
What's your update on Warrington and Galahad? Has that been pushed back?
Disappointing. I mean, so there was a lot of what I call mucking around, and then they sent a contract. We signed the contract. They announced it for May the 4th because May the 4th is the last Saturday they're allowed to put it on within the time frame, and then surprise, surprise, put in that Warrington's hurt his hand, and they can't box on May the 4th because they get an extension. And it's with the IBF. I hope that they don't give them the extension. They let us do it. We've got the money to do it now. We've got to wait and try and find a way to do it. And I don't know, how can we get this money together to make it happen? No, we just do it. So we put a bid in that we could run now. Has Warrington got a bad hand? Ask Warrington. I don't believe so. He just ain't really ready, and they're not ready to do the show. See what the IBF say.
What's happening with Kell Brook finally before the end?
We're close to announcing his next date. He
UK
could
or
box
US?
on the Joshua card.
Oh, right. Okay.
He could box
definitely
on the
in the
Joshua
US?
card. Not definitely, no. He could box in June in Sheffield as well. So just finalising that. So Kell and Callum Smith are the two ones we've got to try and nail down.
I thought Callum Smith's
week.
on the 18th
May
of
18th,
May.
possibly. I've got a few other ideas as well. So
When are you announcing that USEC show?
next week.
Chicago?
Yes. May 18th.
So Povetkin's back in now?
Yeah, it's Povetkin or Takam are sort of our two guys that we're looking at, and it's been a bit slow, to be honest with you, but we're nearly there.
So we don't know if Wilder will fight May the 18th now, do we?
No.
Because obviously, if you're signing him...
One thing's for sure, I'm definitely not signing Wilder. That's definitely not happening, but we'll see.
All right, let's go to the press conference.
Okay.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for your time, and we'll catch up with you again in the week.
Cheers.